right. My name is Aaron Rhodes, and you're listening to the Shuttlecock podcast. We're sponsored by the Vinyl Underground at 7th Heaven, offering new and used vinyl at 76 and Troost in Kansas City, Missouri. This week on the show, we have Kansas City production group. So far, 3/4 of that group. Hopefully, 4/4 of it. If one of our friends joins us, we have the GoonEz. How you guys doing?
What up?
So I guess just for the sake of anybody just listening to the audio, if you could each introduce yourself, that would be awesome.
What's the deal? It's your man Guvinchi. You know what I'm saying? 1/4 of the GoonEz here, live and direct with my boys. About to do this little podcast, man. Let's get it.
So what's up? This is Drizi Dre, a.k.a. Drizi Dre, a.k.a. Dre, whichever you want to call it, either way. But you know, 1/4 for the GoonEz, rocking strong with my boys.
Yeah, what's the deal? It's Tezzy Tez, 1/4 of the GoonEz.
Oh, yeah, and can you give us a heads? Who's our fourth member who may or may not be joining us?
SacchiSmoov, a.k.a.
My boy,
a lot of people might know him as TJ.
Word. And is it all four of you guys, or 3/4 of you guys are from Kansas City, Kansas originally?
We
all of us from Kansas City.
All four of you?
Yeah.
So I think that ends up being whether you like it or not, does that kind of end up being a talking point when a lot of people first get to like meeting you guys or working with you? Like, because I know like a lot of people just go really hard for Kansas City, Missouri. They make a point out of being like, oh, this is Kansas City, not Kansas. Fucking show me state. Does that ever bother you guys? Has that hindered any work of yours?
I would say it hasn't hindered because we work with a lot of artists from the KCMO area, so it wouldn't hinder. So we hear a lot of the in Missouri over Kansas. We hear a lot of that talk, but it don't affect our work. But it's just the jokes. So it's really just like comedy to us, like because we be over there. I say we kind of like the KCK people will go to Missouri more than the Missouri people come over there. So I feel like that's why they feel that way.
Yeah. So another thing I wanted to clear up very quickly, because I have not seen it addressed in other interviews, is how the group's name was chosen. Are you guys fans of the 80s comedy film?
Tell him the crazy part about that, Dre.
I still ain't seen it.
Ain't nobody seen it but me.
Man, and I seen bits and pieces of it. Like,
bro, I can see it. Like, I can see it on TV, but I could never sit there. If it's not from the beginning, I won't watch it. I never caught it from the beginning, or seen it, or had it.
Same with
like,
me.
Like, so I never ever.
I done heard the main part of the movie, like when he yell out the GoonEz and the little ugly little face, little whatever the hell it is. I just know like bits and pieces of it, but the name, it was because of that. Like I heard it. Well, I came up with the name, and it was kind of like a spinoff of how a producer named Johnny Giuliano and another one called his name Cardo, and they had like a little group, but it didn't go nowhere. But I came across it like when I first started making beats, and I just was like, this is hard. Like I didn't know nothing about the movie. I didn't know it was a movie called The GoonEz back then. So like I just was like, whatever. And then I just took it and ran with it. But like as I started, like, you know what I'm saying, we started producing and stuff, people started asking us, like, y'all seen the 80s movie? Like, y'all seen? I'm like, bro, what? Like, I don't know. I never seen that movie. Like, so I just now, like, it's just something that's just attached to it. Like, it's not even about the movie now. It's bigger than that to me.
Sorry, so maybe now.
But for the fact, hold on. For the fact for him to see, for Tezzy to be the only one to see the movie.
That's one of my favorite movies, bro.
And it's just one of his favorite movies. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
That's
bro.
crazy.
Okay, I think
ain't never seen.
You have two options at this point. I think one is to just go out of your way to never see the movie and like have that be a bit that like you just that's your group name, but you've never seen the movie.
Never seen it.
Or you guys get together and do like a live stream where you like watch the movie together and like do like a reaction video.
That'd be
hard.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I know. I'm gonna be like, damn, I missed that all this time.
The whole time. Yep.
I hear people talk about it all the time. Be like, damn, I just still never seen it.
And have you ever worked like a sample from the movie into a beat or anything like that?
The tag is from the movie.
Oh, the tag
is from the movie. Yeah, yeah.
It was our original tag. Our original tag.
Our original tag.
Right. Yeah, because I thought there was, like, I think the one I was familiar with, like there's one with just a woman saying the name, right?
Yeah, that's the original tag.
Okay. Yeah. Word. Well, okay, so I watched I did my homework. I watched the Renegade Crew interview that you guys did a while back, and you guys mentioned how you kind of knew each other growing up, like way back, but you were connected to do music through a friend of a mutual friend of yours who was incarcerated.
Yeah. He out now. He good.
It was a friend of ours, like big homie of ours named Sam. He had
Sam
got it was before he went in.
I was curious who that was and like why he thought you guys should team up.
It's basically like two of his little bros doing the same thing, and why y'all not doing it together?
But the crazy
Goof, I could say Goof was doing it a little bit before or had a little bit more experience. So when he seen me getting my feet wet, he like, shit, I know Jalen, he doing this shit. So why don't y'all? Because he was at K-State for a minute. Then he came back to the city for a little bit. Then he ran into Sam and they got to talking. Then me and Sam I was already seeing him every day type shit. He see me start trying to dabble in and producing. So he like, damn, why don't y'all try to? He put the bird in the Jalen ear. So shit, I already had hit Jalen up by myself, but after Sam had did it, Jalen was like, shit, I might as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's for sure.
No, yeah, and you guys talked about in that same interview, and I'm sure it comes up in conversation a lot, that you each kind of have your own style when you're working by yourselves, and you think that kind of just makes you guys like a unique package. The fact that you don't all like make the same kind of beats and production and stuff.
Definitely.
Would you be able to, like, because you talked about in that other interview, like what like your own styles and influences are, like, would you be able to tell me about those briefly? And unless do you feel like they've changed over the last few years, like your strengths and what your individual sounds kind of are?
Yeah, pretty for sure.
Personally, I feel all of us are progressing each day. So it's like even our sound from 2 years ago will be different from today because we do this shit damn near. We try to do it every day. So we're gonna make sure we progressing and we're gonna be better than we were yesterday. So
yes, sir.
So
it's all a process though. It's just, it's just like playing basketball or are you doing this podcast? It's just consistency,
the repetition.
Yep. Yeah. It's just all about how
you're gonna be better. You're gonna be better than your first time on your 100th time. So that's just like with us. We got thousands of beats now. I remember when we had 50 beats. We like, damn, look at us, y'all. We got thousands
of beats, man.
Like unheard, that not like thousands out. Like we got like that'll never be the problem. Like we can we can whip some up 5-10 minutes real quick. So it's just we trying to really produce and get our like help this around or like piece it together like a real orchestra. Like, oh, we might need a piano player for this. Can't be us. We might need a singer to put a hook on here before we can push the record. So just really trying to get our feet in the actual hands-on producing.
Yeah, do you guys subscribe to the 10,000 hours theory, like mastering your craft?
Yeah. We passed the 10,000 mark.
Okay, so
threshold.
If anyone is listening, just know that the GoonEz have mastered their craft, and you should probably do some work with them.
Come with it. We appreciate it. We work with anybody, man.
Sure.
Anybody.
No discriminate. As long as we can vibe together, we can work together.
Mm-hmm. Another thing I was kind of curious about. Well, we were talking before we started recording, and you guys said it had been a minute, like a month or two maybe, since you all had been in the same room. But you kind of had talked before about like liking to be in the studio with the artists you're working with. Is that still generally the case, and you just kind of haven't happened to be all four of you together recently?
Yeah, mostly it can be us together. It can be like TJ and Goof knocking out a record and somebody with them two knocking out a hook. Then it can be Tez, Goof, and TJ doing something together. Or it can be me, Goof, and Tez at a event and TJ handling something else. Or it usually be something like that where somebody got to see something else. Somebody just got a prior obligation. But when we all can.
No, yeah, I was kind of curious. Like, I don't know if you could put like a percentage on it, but like, how often do all four of you guys touch the same track that ends up getting put out?
What you think, Driz?
I'd say between 50%. Sometimes it can be, and sometimes it get misconstrued too, because it's four of us. So the artist that's working with us, they might just put the GoonEz instead of just putting Guvinchi, or instead of just putting Sacchi.
Right.
Or
which is fine. That's fine too,
That's no problem. But sometimes it can also be like TJ, Tez, and Goof did it, and I didn't do it, or them three. You know what I'm saying? It can be that type of relationship. So they wouldn't want to be like Tez, Goof, and you know what I'm saying? So we'll just still want to put GoonEz's name on there.
Yes.
And we had the communication. Yeah, we communicate that it's no problem. As long as we family, we all rock, we all family tree. So as long as we getting our work out there and everybody being able to hear and they like it, so we good with it.
Right.
And you talked to, I also watched the Save It for the Podcast interview that you guys did earlier this year. That was fun. And you kind of mentioned that even though it doesn't always happen, like it's sometimes to your advantage when you guys are able to, at least some of you guys, be in the same room, because like you'll end up like pushing each other to like continue working or like change something about a song that you wouldn't have otherwise. So I guess I wanted to know if you would encourage more producers or even just musicians in general to like form groups, or if you don't think it's a thing that people should try to force.
Yeah, I feel like even a day and times it's almost like it anyway with the times of the samples and the loops. So if the producers that's getting the loops from the musicians, if they crediting them as right, it's kind of like they already in a group. Because if you just getting a sound from this other producer and you doing drums or vice versa, then you add in, I kind of feel like that's still the same.
You definitely can't force no group.
Yeah, because I feel like we were able to be a group because of the.
It's just us. We had a brotherhood already, bro. But it's just the music. I don't know. It was different. I feel like with this type of group, it's something you can't force. I mean, I feel like, yeah, you should
we were
try it.
all
It ain't
friends
nothing wrong
before
with
we
that.
kind of made
Yeah,
music too.
we already kind of had a feel of the vibe. Like we already knew who each other was. Like from basketball, like that's already a brotherhood itself. So like, you know, we already had, you know, and our boy Sam put us together. Like certain situations like that, it was kind of like God given. You know what I'm saying? Like that was supposed to happen.
Or no, and you guys had mentioned also, well, it's funny. I think it seems like you guys have kind of made progress in this area, but you mentioned in the interview from a couple years ago that it was hard for you guys to find a consistent like studio space that you could work out of. But I noticed that you have just been working out of the Emerald Dreams lab out on Shawnee Mission Parkway pretty frequently, and that's where the Save It for the Podcast interview was filmed. Has that kind of been home base for you guys as a group, or do you still kind of like end up hopping around to other places?
That's the spot for sure, but like, you know, it's still times where we get a call from another spot where we just go out there. It's just,
and it's just not like we
Emerald,
just, you gotta come here. It's wherever we welcome to. We pull up. We fuck with all the studios.
But Emerald is the home base for now. Like that's home base.
Oh yeah, because I ended up guesting on the Energy and Jams show not too long ago, and Ed was telling me all about that spot, and it seems like that's something cool going. That's kind of out in Overland Park, albeit, but it's like seems like a solid enough setup. I think I've seen videos of like No Scope working out of there. Although I was just told that he moved recently, but I know he had been working out there for a minute too. So
yeah, Scope was in there. Shout out to Els too, man. Yeah, he
studio manager up there.
Yeah, he's the studio manager. He showed love.
It was 8 by 10.
Oh yeah, and a lot of people, like, I don't know, it's funny. I think I would see this on like just by following local hip hop people on Twitter, and then also like I think I ended up in like one or two like Clubhouse rooms, you know, earlier this year when everybody was on those.
Yeah.
And a concern that came up a lot. I don't know like how valid everyone feels like this is, but a lot of people kind of talk about how other cities have like cultures like within their studios, which is like an advantage for other cities like Atlanta and so on. Like do you guys feel like having like a big reputable studio that a lot of like well-known artists work out of is an important thing for
it's important, bro. Like I feel like it is, but like once again, like some of that stuff be just like it's just a vibe. It happens. Like it's nothing forced. It's nothing like somebody made it to be like that. It's just like some of them studios down there are like that. And then like just for experience, like we went down there, DJ Drama Studio. Like the first step in there was like it was crazy. Like we in DJ Drama Studio, and it was just mad love in there. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's not like something that could be made overnight. Like that stuff is a vibe. Like it's a real vibe. Atlanta music scene is a vibe for sure. So like we would have to bring that here. Like, you know what I'm saying? KC we gotta build that vibe. We gotta build that the type of relationship with artists, so as producers and so forth. So it is like it could happen for sure. We just gotta make it happen.
Here to Kamadri.
Oh yeah, and I wanted to know a little bit about how your guys' group projects come together, because you've been releasing them pretty much the whole time that you guys have been in a group. There was the first one first and foremost in 2014?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
No, yeah. Is there a particular like kind of workflow that happens when you guys are doing a production album, or does it kind of end up varying project by project?
Not
I would say.
First and foremost, nah. First and foremost, that was just our first look.
That was just about. Hey,
that was just.
It's definitely more of a process now than it was.
Hey,
then.
we got a chunk of hours at the studio, and we call all the artists.
Everybody
like,
pull up.
They pull up. We just say, hey, we got like 8 hours. Pull up if you can. Let's see what we can do. And that's what like shit. We could do that more often.
I thought you were gonna say that like that one experience felt kind of like rushed or something, but you enjoyed having like the day long kind of session.
It was rough.
Definitely was rough.
It was rough because we invited artists, so it was a lot of their first time too. I think being in a real studio, so they brought like anybody that they could bring. So it was like one person could bring like 8 people with them. So we had like 2-3 people bring like 8+ people with them. So it was one of the sessions where it's like 30 people, and the studio managers and the engineers, they weren't feeling that. And that was kind of our first time being in the studio too. So we all like, oh shit, we didn't know all them were coming and all that. So, but we still got everything done. Like the vibe was right, but we just know it was a little hiccup with like, it was a lot of sweating going on that day. It was hot in there, boy.
For sure.
It was real hot.
So how have the more recent projects come together in comparison to that kind of chaotic first project?
I would say getting more us being. I could say personally, me being engineer now and being able to control some of the vocals and not having us having to book a session and wait a couple days to get in the studio when it's free. So it's basically now we on our own when we can get in. Like if we got time, or a lot of us now too got setups at our house. If we need to get some vocals and get it done, like get some vocals late, we can get it done real quick. So that makes the hassle easier, not having to wait on the studio to open up. So.
And another thing I was curious about was the it's been a title, like part of a couple of the project titles, and it's the name of your website. It's The Wax. I was curious what the concept behind that name is, what meaning that holds to you guys.
It's a spot on, was it Tez 27?
Yeah.
I think it's on 27th and it's off of State in Kansas City, Kansas. Off of Parallel, my fault. It's off of Parallel in Kansas City, Kansas. And this is like a record shop, like one of the main record shops that we had over there in our area. And it was called the Wax Factor. Basically, it's basically the only where you can get the hottest local music around. So that's how we wanted to brand our, like you go in there, like you getting the hottest beats for the latest updates on the hottest producers in KCK.
Or sure.
Basically the same thing. So yeah.
Is that shop not around anymore?
Oh yeah, it's still open. It's still open. It was closed just during the pandemic, but it's still on and moving.
I'll have to make a trip to that sometime. I was unaware of KCK's record store.
Yep, it's kind of like a landmark over there, like ours, like a Seventh Heaven, like the main, like our. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Okay, I think I'm gonna cut this out of the podcast, but I don't know if it's showing you guys like it's giving me like a countdown that like you can only do like a multi-camera, like a multi-person Zoom for 40 minutes at a time. And so in 4 minutes, it's gonna kick us off, I think. But what I think I'm gonna do right now is just end this recording and then send a new link to the group chat, to the Twitter that I sent it to, and we can just restart. So, and then I'll just edit the two together. That way we don't have to end in 3 minutes.
That'll work.
All right, bet.
Make sure y'all text T real quick, because he, you know,
I'll be able to get it off of there too.
Okay,
bet.
I will.
Yeah, I'll be able to
send you the new link. Okay, we're rolling again. We had just had to take a quick break for our listeners. Zoom has a 40-minute limit on meeting times with multiple people, but we are avoiding that by starting a second recording. Jalen is out of town right now, if you did not already tell. He's having a lot of fun. He's just hanging out in line. He's the only person podcasting at the store right now. It is a bit noisy, but that's all right. Wait, that is coming from the store, yes?
Yeah, bro. Mute yourself, bro.
Yeah,
mute your shit,
it is a little intrusive, so maybe just unmute yourself when you have a comment. For the time being. Okay, cool. That's funny. I'm like, oh, what if I get a copyright thing now too? Just
I know they were like, take it down here, take it down.
Okay, we were just talking about the wax in KCK being kind of an important spot for you guys, but I think now I wanted to move to some of your guys' placements. One song that I think maybe a lot of my listeners might be familiar with is Ashan's I, which you guys, which at least one of you co-produced with Walt. Who worked on that track?
G Money, Goof.
Or
so I don't know what's going on.
No,
Tacos, boy.
I guess it would be best to have him here for that, but that's just all right. I can ask you guys a bit about it if that works. But
I know the story too.
Okay, yeah. Do you know who's responsible for that's like what part is Goof responsible for? Like what elements of that song? Because one thing
Goof,
I do like
he produced the majority of it, and Walt basically just rearranged it to A-Sean's liking. So A-Sean had came, he was just if he had just got to town or he had just started rapping, but he said he had heard of us that we were doing pretty good in the city. So he had hit us on Twitter or Instagram. He was like, bro, I need a pack of beats from y'all. And we didn't like, shoot, we just sent him a pack of beats, and he's like, bro, that's how I got my name off it. Like, he's like, I got my name, like, building my sound off of working with y'all, like saying I'm working with the GoonEz. So to see where A-Sean turned into today, that's like, damn, he did get off from that beat pack that we first gave him. So just seeing that's what he was able to turn that into, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's really great. He's out in California right now. He's making some moves, and we all wish him the best. It seems like I think he's been teasing I think he's gonna be on some kind of tour in the next few months or sometime next year. So hopefully that is a cool opportunity for him. On I really love that kind of string intro that kind of pulls the listener in, like, because it's funny, like that, like, you know, I'm sure like people would just recognize the song from it being popular, but I like the little like string overture at the beginning kind of creates like a moment where everybody can be like, oh shit, it's I, and then everybody can kind of get hyped for it. Because
I kind of reminds me like a movie beginning or something like like a scene opening type, like a type of deal.
Yeah, and it was kind of like a song of the summer type thing among like kind of the younger Kansas City rap crowd. I think, like, you know, multiple shows at 825 and then the one at the downtown with Rory and G Watts. Like, I remember that song being a highlight of just like multiple shows that year. So yeah, and people were always like really excited for that to come on. So I think that kind of goes down as a classic Kansas City track for its time, and it's cool that you guys had some work on that. I was gonna ask about Goof worked on Dadu World's Out of State, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he does kind of like
it was a I think that was a collab with the other producer from
with One Bounce.
Yep. They did that together.
But he had kind of talked about before how he likes the like kind of tougher, grittier beats. Is that not the case?
Yeah, that's his.
And he's big on like 3-6
real drill,
and
like yep.
Yeah. So I was gonna ask him if there are any like national like trap or like street rap acts that he hopes to produce for at some point. Has he divulged any of that to you guys?
I know about producers for sure, not so much artists though. But it's
because anybody, the artist is like up in the air. It's like we feel like we can, like any artist that can make a dope hook or can make a dope melody to his shit. We feel like they can build it into a dope song. So it's really like he more into like the producers who he work with and collab with.
Yeah.
Because the artist, as soon as they hear like a snippet or a little piece of goofy shit, they already know. They don't give them what they want.
And you guys also had some work on you've had multiple collaborations with AL, but you had some work on his 17 Summers project last year.
Yep.
Yeah, what was like what went into the work you guys did on that project?
Working on the song was probably the easiest part because AL was actually crafting, like he was going in and out of crafting the whole album with TJ. Like him and TJ would wake up early, crack it down like 7, 8 o'clock, and they'd go to the studio. They'd be there till the session come. Till a session come for TJ or another engineer got a session, they'd be there like 7 a.m. to as long as they can and knock out references or songs. So AL's basically crafting pieces of that song with TJ, and I'll pop in, or Goof Tez will pop in. And that was like one of the last songs that he did that we produced. A lot of the other songs were made with Bergotti, but the vocals, AL was crafting those with us and like doing parts, redoing harmony. So seeing him build that whole album together, it was just really seeing him in his bag and seeing a real dope songwriter like craft melodies, how he'd come up with dummy lines, then go back and make them into real lines that make sense. Like he'd just he'd just hum the melodies on the beats, then he'd start building and just piecing it together, and just watching him do that too, just watching the master at work.
Definitely one of the best songwriters in the city, for sure. That's a fact.
And the Dreaming song, it was a collab with Keith Woolrich. He's a session musician here in Kansas City, Kansas. He was able to add the little chord progression at the end just to add another variant to the beat. Nice. And he came in at the end too, just to add little sprinkles on it, just to what else do we need? And that's what he felt like, shoot, I could just add something here or there. So we made that a collab with him, trying to just add more, just musicians and liven up our sound too, just adding different elements that we can use.
Yeah. So another recent project that you guys had a hand in was At the Close of a Decade by Jass, which from my understanding, she originally self-produced that whole project. She released like a version of it on SoundCloud, but then I'm guessing you guys had a hand in like kind of retouching it and working on the version that is now like out on streaming and everything.
Yep, I would say like engineer, like as far as the engineering part, because she's self-efficient as a producer. She can play, she can record herself as well, but TJ was there as a helping hand, so she wouldn't have to necessarily have to do everything. So she was more of like engineering her vocals for her while she was crafting the album, then helping her piece together songs. If this song would be, should we use this song? Should we use this part? Should we take this bridge out? Should we add a bridge here? So just like pieces to the puzzle, like kind of like what he did with AL. TJ handled that part with her as well.
So if anyone has an R&B track to arrange, that's your guy to go to.
Yeah. Both. I would say TJ and Tez. The Tez is more. He's out of me, TJ and Goof. Tez is more like he got like better music theory than we do. So yeah, he can play with some chords and know how to put a couple progressions down that'll blow some people away. So it's a reason why we always string his little ass along with us. Like he there with us for a reason. Like he's real hands on with the music, like as far as the theory and knowing where exact sound. So he's a big help in that area as well.
And
if you get them two, if you get TJ and Tez, I don't know where you can go wrong, honestly.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that right now.
I don't know. Hopefully they don't cut you guys out.
I'm not talking about the other two shit. Then we got the goal. Then you got us. Well, you got us right there. Then.
No, I'm joking. I wanted to ask about. I think what's the most recent project you guys have released as a group was the Things Women Say EP, and this is all like all the tracks include features from local female artists, and I don't know, like what was the idea going into
it was
that
more
project?
of a set. I would say it was more of a segue because we have I think we got 2 records that are like it's a female and male record. Then we have a record with just the male on there. So we more use the females, the Things Women Say, as transitions. Yeah. And we had like a session where we had women just press record and they were talking amongst themselves, but just about just certain things like after the club experience, or how do you feel when your man or boyfriend texts you or he don't respond in a timely manner. So just hearing those responses is like, damn, things women say where they're just in the midst and they're just talking. They know they're getting recorded, but they're just talking like just like they're not being recorded. So they're just talking like freely, just talking about their experience they have when they're getting asked those questions. Like, how do you feel when your boyfriend don't text you? So just to hear them, give them their spiel on that. That's how we kind of built it and crafted the project around that. Like, okay. And we had certain songs that could be placed like, okay, that's kind of talking about this subject matter. And if we didn't have that song, it's like, okay, we can get this song recorded and kind of touch base on that subject matter. And that's how that kind of 5-song EP came together.
No, that's cool. I think that's kind of I haven't come across another local project that has been pieced together like that. I do enjoy those kind of transitions, those interludes with just the chatter and banter and everything. And yeah, it does sound like just clips from like a talk show or a podcast or something. And but it becomes part of the songs that like part of the themes and the imagery in those songs. So I thought that was a fun little project. So I think one of the last things I wanted to ask you guys was if you could, like, I think what you talked about in the Save It for the Podcast interview, what some of your guys' like most popular songs have been. There was oh shit, there's one I missed. I missed mentioning DWalk's Clappers, of course. I was gonna say that's one of the more popular tracks you guys have had a hand in. That was a track that Goof worked on with was that just his to begin with?
Yep, that was just Goof. Then he ended up getting a collab. I think they ended up I know that's just Goof as far as the production wise, but
yeah,
as far as the artists and the features, I think that was something they made a play with together as far as DJ Rocky and DWalk.
Yeah, no.
DJ Rocky Montana.
Yeah. And I'm blanking on his name right now, but the dude
B
from
King.
Texas. Yeah, B King.
Yeah.
B King.
Yeah, no,
shout out B King.
That new music video for it is pretty ridiculous, pretty awesome.
Yeah.
What was
There's a lot of cheeks in that one.
There are. What was your guys' first reaction when you found out it was kind of getting the remix treatment and like there was going to be that music video?
Because at first we were kind of on the edge, like where is the video?
Yeah.
Like, cause we thought like it was we always figured it would be like a video that turned out like that. We just didn't know when it would be and when we would be able to see it.
Yeah.
So when we finally got the call that, hey, it's on the way, and we got like the trailers and visuals, like, oh my Lord, this is what we've been waiting on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this we want to see. This is what everybody want to see.
Exactly how you picture.
No, and not to. Okay, I'm gonna keep bragging about this a little bit, but I wrote about the song when it first came out 2 or 3 years ago. It's been a minute since the original song came out, but I remember including it in one of my hometown highlights roundups, and I was like, hey, this song should kind of be like a club anthem, and kind of like it could be a major, like kind of a national hit if it was put in the right hands. I think I used that phrase. And I just feel vindicated, and I'm happy that I got to predict its late coming but deserved success.
Definitely.
No, we appreciate it.
But yeah, no. What I was gonna ask before I remember that was so that's one of the more popular songs you guys have worked on. You mentioned there's a song called New Money that ends up getting like sync licensing and stuff that you guys just get royalties on. Like have you figured out like where the source of that?
Yeah, a lot of that we figured comes from the Facebook monetization.
Yeah.
So I see like a lot of it is basically if you can add the song, whether it's like I guess you can add them on your page and you can add them on some story. So as you can add them, and those are counted as plays too.
Okay.
Because I guess it's like a 30-second threshold. So I guess they count those all as plays that are on the Snapchats, the Facebooks, and they just group them all together.
That's interesting. And so then, yeah, there are a couple other songs you mentioned on the Save It for the Podcast as maybe your most successful or your most popular songs. But I was curious as to like, is there one like placement or song that you guys have worked on that you feel is like your most like underappreciated, overlooked, like just you were surprised that it didn't get more traction than it did? Considering you have like dozens, maybe hundreds of songs out there.
Not right off the top of my head, but what's that one AL got on the last tape? Really, the last tape for real. Period. I feel like that might have been our best tape so far. Yeah. If they slept on that one, they need to go ahead and check that out. Cause
but the not the Tales from the Wax?
Tales from the Wax for sure.
Heard. Well, I guess we can close out by I don't know, just tell me what you guys are working on right now, what people can be looking out for the rest of 2021, and I don't know, any plans or placements or projects that you guys are working on right now.
Well, you know us, we try to keep it busy. We try to stay busy. So we got a lot more dropping with artists. It's really up to them on when their dates and if our songs on the track list that it made the cut. But a lot of them said we have made the cut. So it's basically just release dates from them is when they're dropping. I know as far as like we probably got songs on 4 or 5 new couple artists that's dropping. If they're not dropping by the end of the year, beginning of next year. And as far as like us and our projects, that would, if we don't sneak out another project before the end of the year, we might just finish the year pushing the rest of our work that we did this year, just trying to spin it again, get everybody else to spin them again. So,
is there anything you can tell me about the next project you guys are working on, or is it still too early to divulge any of that?
I could just say just bigger and better than the last.
Yeah, nothing specific just yet, but it's definitely gonna be something.
Try to progress, try to make it bigger and better than, try to top ourselves than what we did last time. That's all we can really hope for.
Well, I think that's a good way to tease any project. I figure we can wrap it up about here. Can you guys give me where people can find you on social media and just anywhere any recent stuff of yours they should check out, or just give me your plugs.
You can find us on Twitter, IG, Facebook at THAGOONEZ, the GoonEz. You can catch me, one Drizi Dre on IG and Drizi Dre on Twitter. You can catch all of us, all of us linked on thewax.com, THAWAX.com. What you got, Tez?
I'm at _Tezzy Tez _ on everything. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all that.
And you know Jalen, he Guvinchi.
Guvinchi.
On Facebook and Twitter and IG, GUVINCHI. So check him out. And SacchiSmoov on IG and Twitter. Sacchi, SACHHI, Smooth, no E at the end. So you can catch us all there, and that's what we'll be, Your neighborhood villains, neighborhood players, man, doing the same thing, man. Cooking up for y'all, trying to make it work, trying to spread the wealth, trying to get some wealth, trying to be better every day. That's all we can try to hope for, man.
Awesome. And do you guys do you have a website? You have the Wax. Is that where do you keep a track train type thing where people can listen to unused beats of yours?
Yep, right on the Wax. We push it. Basically, we pushing the Wax everything there, our merch, our beats.
Yeah.
The recent news from us. So whenever you're looking for beats, just go to the Wax. Recent news from us, merch from us. Thewax.com is where you will find all that.
And that's THAWAX.com.
Yep.
.com. Yep.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Awesome. Well, people can follow at Shuttlecock Mag on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The website is shuttlecockmusic.com. The web store is shuttlecockmag.bigcartel.com. Look out for new editions of the print issue coming soon. Subscribe to the podcast wherever you're listening to or watching it, and be on the lookout on our socials for all the punk shows and stuff we have booked coming up. And I appreciate you guys taking the time to chat with me tonight.
Appreciate you having too, Aaron and Shuttlecock.
Of course.
Make sure y'all check out the mag, man, and check out the next interview and the next stuff he got going, man. We appreciate you rocking with us for this one, though.
No, of course, and I think it was overdue.
My man, me too. Glad we got it in.